Let's talk about Robinhood. So Robinhood released their first ever earnings report. Now there was not much expectation and not many analysts covering the stock. I wasn't surprised with their earnings as their earnings were close to the estimates and I was not expecting anything major from the earnings. I was just surprised with what was said during the conference call. So let's talk about it and we are starting right now. So during the earnings call, they basically said that guys, do not count for a good quarter in Q3. Our net revenue accounts will be less and our revenue will be less. Along with that, one of the major revenue drive for this quarter was their crypto division. Take a look at what was mentioned here. Robinhood capitalizes on strong crypto interest in first earnings report, but stock stumbles. And this was directly from the earnings where it says Robinhood customer demonstrated significant interest in crypto with over 60% of their net cumulative funded accounts trading in crypto during the second quarter. Another first for Robinhood was that during the 3 months ended June 30th, their first quarter were larger share of new customers placed their first trade in crypto rather than equities. So this was the first time when their members or their account holders traded more crypto than stocks. And that's why they said they had a huge interest coming from crypto. So with this kind of language, of course, Wall Street did not like this new stock in the short term. So as you can see that their revenue was, of course, they beat on EPS, they beat on revenue, everything they beat on. And of course, with the type of language that they used during the conference call, even I was shocked to hear that them coming out and saying stuff like that, because again, Wall Street did not like what they hear. And you can see in the stock right after the earnings, the stock went down. So this is where it gets really tricky for small investors like myself. Kathy Wood is buying millions of shares of Robinhood, but for small investors like myself, it kind of gets tricky. Take a look at what they're saying here under the financial outlook. So under the financial outlook, what that was given for Q2, they're saying the 3 months ended September 30th, which is the Q3, we expect seasonal headwinds and lower trading activity across the industry. They're not talking about Robinhood, they're saying across the industry, to result in lower revenues and considerable fewer new funded accounts than in the prior quarter. So they are saying that they are going to be basically opening less accounts and less trading activity. Now, according to my estimate, I was thinking that September, October will be really good for stock market because we saw this shift where people were putting money more in cryptos when the stocks were going down, and now crypto started to pick back up and now stocks started to pick back up. So we could see that bull run come back in the September and October timeframe. But of course, with the new Delta variant, with new things that's happening in the stock market, nobody knows what's going to happen, and that's exactly what Robinhood is preparing the investors for, that in the Q3 numbers might not look very good. There's another thing they're saying. Our one-time cumulative charge of $1 billion in stock-based compensation for restricted stock units related to our IPO in the third quarter, basically they're saying there will be $1 billion more dollar worth of stock-based compensation that is going to take place in the Q3 timeframe, and that is going to hurt the stock in the short term. So now, given the stock and the earnings report, this is what the chart looks like few days after the earnings. So now, given the stock and the earnings report, this is what the chart looks like few days after the earnings. There is not enough data. I mean, they don't have any kind of MACD because it's just too new. RSI is also in 50s, which is kind of pointless right now because the stock is just so new. But from what I have seen is the volume has declined since the IPO and the price has gone down since the IPO. With the latest earning, or what was said during the conference call, is also not very satisfying for big investors and small investors in the short term. In the long term, I think this stock is going to be fine, but in the short term, I feel that investors, especially like investors like myself, I'm not opening any new trade on Hood because I really don't know what the stock is going to do after the Q3 results will come out, because we could see some kind of a potential trouble for the stock after the Q3 if they don't report what Wall Street is estimating, and if they don't beat, if they come under, then we can see some serious trouble for the stock in the short term. So I'll keep holding my position. I'm not adding anything new, as I mentioned, and this is what I have right now open. So I sold 100 puts, $40 puts for December 2021 expiration, and I got about $7 for that put. Right now the price is about $6, so I'm making about 15% on it. My plan is leading up to Q3. I'm not waiting for Q3 because that's very dangerous. Leading up to Q3, I think in the next bull run, if the stock reaches up to say $50 in the short term, probably in like 2 to 3 weeks, I'm getting out of this position and may make 30% or close to that. That's my goal of what I'm doing with this position. Now, if the Q3, they wouldn't have said anything wrong with Q3, I would have kept this position open till December, because then I would be able to keep the entire amount that I received. I received about $70,000 to keep that in my account. But because they are predicting low Q3 numbers or not very aggressive in Q3, I will get out in the next bull run. And that could happen even today. The stock market is up today when I'm recording this video, or maybe 2 weeks from now. I'll keep an eye on, and I will exit when I'm making about, I would say, 30%. 30% was my goal initially on this, and then I will get out to when I'm making double this. So I feel that in the long run, Hood will be fine, but this company will go through some tough quarters. And especially given the market conditions, I will not put any more money in this. Again, my opinion only, entertainment purposes only. I did a whole video on my initial trade. If you have not seen it, then do check it out over here. I'm going to link it up here. As always, appreciate your time. If you like the video, then consider subscribing and click on the like button so we can reach out to more investors. Thank you for joining me. Love you all. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.